Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is F1 2018. Woo! That's purple. Oh,
this is a really strong foundation to
nice.
build from over the weekend. Be careful with the front wing. You've taken
Sometimes
some
once you
minor
lose
damage.
it is so hard to get it back. And I could not get it back there, but I finished the lap, purple. Alright, so this is F1 2018. It is week 43 of the Gaming Decathlon competition. And we're going to head back to the garage. I actually want to see how that pit entrance is before I do that. That's how I always finish out my first program, is I've got to get used to that pit entrance, as I do not have pit assist on. I've got to get down to speed on my own. Anyway, we are at Hungary, and I'm all over the track right now as I'm talking and thinking and not concentrating on the course. And this is the first time I've been here in a little while. I think I was kind of in and out quickly in the 2017 game, and I never got here a second time as I didn't get that far into the season. So I'm going to push right through the practice program, and then we will get straight into qualifying after we do this quick practice pit stop. And here is the pit entry. Rough curbs here. Okay, that's a pretty easy pit entrance to get into, other than making that corner. That corner is not the easiest one to try to maintain speed. I could definitely lose some time there, but at least for the pit limiter part, it's easy enough to get down to speed. Anyway, I'm going to finish up practice here, and then we will head to qualified. This might be a one racer, as I tend to go 2 per episode and then 1 every other episode. And this would be the one, as I did 2 races last time out. Unfortunately, that was 2 18th places, 2 challenging races for me, as my team puts on a new wing for me. So we'll see what happens in practice. I had a really good start, and then after I went live, turns 11 and 14, a little troublesome there, and then after hitting that DRS on the front stretch there, I lost control and banged the wall a little bit. Anyway, I'm going to get on with my practice program, and I'll see you in qualifying. Right as I'm about to head to qualifying, take a quick look at the engine and gearbox. We can see there is a bit of wear and tear. I do have plenty of parts that don't have any wear and tear on them, but I'm pretty poor at this track, and you'll see that soon enough. So I'm not putting bad parts on, but I'm definitely not putting fresh parts. So I'll save those for other races. And in terms of the gearbox, our practice gearbox is all used up. I actually had a few problems in free practice session number 2, which is the second of the 2 that's run each weekend. So I'll have a new practice gearbox in next week. This is also our last race, our 6th race necessary for the current gearbox. You can see it's already at 64% wear and tear. I may experience a problem in this race, but otherwise that's actually pretty good wear and tear, considering I'm already through 5 of the 6 races, and I only have a durability kick of 10%.
We hope you're looking forward to today's qualifying in Hungary as much as we are. We think it's going to be a cracker. With the weather as it is today, Anthony Davidson, we have, to some extent, to throw the form book out of the window. Who do you see having the advantage on this slippery, unpredictable track surface?
So after all 3 practice sessions were in the dry, including the Saturday morning FP3 session was completely dry, it looks like it's going to dry out a bit towards the back end of this session. So I'm going to wait a little while, and then I'll head out as it gets a little bit lighter. The race day is looking to be dry as well. So these are conditions just for qualifying. And if it wasn't for these conditions, I actually was tempted to take on a new engine again and start from the back of the grid, because I was probably only looking at beating out Sorokin, maybe Ericsson to P18, or maybe Van Doren. So I was very much going to be in the back of the grid to begin with. So I was going to take the hit and put a new engine in. But when I saw that qualifying was going to be wet, I said, hey, let's give it a shot. You never know what might happen. I actually tend to run pretty decently in the wet compared to in the dry. And I've had a few races where I was running somewhere around P12, P13 in the dry, and then it started raining halfway through the race, and I finished up in the points. So we'll put those intermediates on. I'm going to wait a little bit for the rain to dry out, and I think we'll go out at about the 12-minute mark for our first lap. See you on the track. As I'm coming towards the end of my first lap here, traction has been hard to come by. There's been a lot of fishtailing around, but I'd actually say that overall I've had a pretty good lap. I've managed to keep it in check and not lose it anywhere, so I think I could produce an okay time here, and by okay time that meant P18, which is right about where I was in practice. It looks like somebody actually either doesn't have a time or really struggled on their first lap, as I'm only ahead of Sorokin. Almost put that one in the wall there. And I'm looking to do 2 laps here, as obviously I'm on intermediates. This is not like running on hyper softs, and there's where I just lost a time. So I just lost half a second through there, so this lap is now negated, as that's what it took to save the car from crashing. Still in Q1, currently in P18, and I'm trying one more time here. This is my last flying lap, and I'm right about the same time I was before. So I am pushing a little harder here, and so I've picked up time here and there, but I've also lost time here and there by pushing it more. So I'm ending with about the same time that I had before. So we can see I kind of keep hovering back and forth between green and red, and it looks like I've actually lost a little bit of time there as we head into the final 2 corners.
Left in this session and we're in the drop zone.
Almost the exact same time. That was milliseconds away from where I was. So no change in position as I finish qualifying in P18 only. So P18. Looks like Ricardo's on top through the first session with Verstappen in 3rd. So Red Bull both in a potential podium type situation, but of course this is going to have nothing to do with the race, and they've still got 2 more qualifying sessions to go. But I do get in front of Sorokin and Hartley. I have run with Hartley in practice and overtaken him. I have run with Ocon in practice and overtaken him. So I can do some running in the pack, but I definitely will be outside of the top 10 for the entirety of the race. There's no reason to expect me cracking the top 10 unless something like 6, 7, 8 cars finish out of the race, and I get a little luck on my side as not being involved in any of those DNFs. But I am nearly a second faster than Sorokin on the intermediates and on the dry tires, so I think I'm right about where I'm supposed to be with the car that I have right now. I'll see you back for the race. After qualifying in just P18, I decided to take the penalties, drop to the back of the grid, and start with all new engine parts so that I can get that much further along to keeping things fresh throughout the course of the rest of the season. So let's go ahead and head to the race weekend, where I'll now be starting in last place.
It's always wonderful to come back to the lively Hungaroring. A popular destination this, nice and close to the beautiful city of Budapest, with some exciting racing to boot. Who can forget Michael Schumacher pushing his old teammate Rubens Barrichello up towards the pit wall in 2010, or those great races of 2014 and 2015 as well. Located 12 miles northeast of the Hungarian capital Budapest, the 14 corners of the Hungaroring are steeped in history and prestige. Overtaking has always been difficult on this technical 2.7-mile circuit, but the last few years in particular have turned up some exceptional races. Let's hope we're in for another one here today. Joining me for today's race once again is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk briefly about Kimi Räikkönen. They need 9th or better to ensure they stay in contention for the championship. Anything outside of that, well, their fate's no longer in their hands.
The key now will be to keep in the right mindset. We've seen time and again that things go wrong if you just try and do the minimum. Not necessarily because of the pressure, but because it's different to your usual approach. They'll need to avoid that and stay focused today.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Räikkönen, Max Verstappen, and Vettel, Magnussen, Hülkenberg, Sainz, and Stoffel van Dorn. Grosjean, they've taken a grid penalty. Leclerc, Esteban Ocon, and Ericsson, Perez, Sirotkin, Brendan Hartley, and Pierre Gasly, Alonso, and the Professor. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Our grid position is not as high as we had hoped, but push hard in the race and hopefully with a bit of luck, we can finish with a positive result.
Alright, so one big surprise is Vettel qualifies only in P6, so the last of the top drivers, or top teams anyway. And it looks like I actually could have bumped up the grid quite a bit, as lots of cars took penalties today. I don't mind starting at the back though. It gives me a chance at a cleaner start, and I'm not caught up in the middle of traffic. As the race goes on, I can kind of feel my way into it a little bit more. Having a little trouble finding some comfort at this track. So as a result, I'm going to flip this strategy, and we are going to go on softs first. But first, let's see how far. It looks like we can go 6 laps. Oof, that's quite the drop off there. If we go 7. So we'll go 6 laps on ultra softs, which means 12 on the softs. I think I could almost make 7 work. I'd rather have them fresh though. So we'll go 12 on the softs. Which means at the beginning, I'm just looking for survival through the first handful of laps. Gain some comfort with the track, with that full fuel load. Stay out of trouble. And then as the race goes on, and cars begin to pit, start moving my way up the grid. And then hopefully, as the field spreads out a bit, by the time I do finally pit with 6 to go, I'll come out ahead of a handful of cars. Maybe have a chance at a point on the day, but I highly doubt that. I think at best I'll be fighting for maybe 15th. Tough track for me. And I'll explain as we go on kind of the reasons for that. A lot of it has to do with the fact that I'm playing with a gamepad at this point and not a wheel. I would love to get a wheel, but not yet. Not in the budget yet. Alright. With that, let's calmly, carefully get to the race. And I'm actually going to start even with that heavier load because, like I said, I would like to have some fuel to burn late on. So we're going to put 20 laps worth in. I'm going to take 2 bonus laps. It'll make for a slower race, but I'll be able to push a lot more towards the end. And hopefully gain a track position or 2. All right, with that, we are at the Hungaroring in Hungary, just outside of Budapest, for the Hungarian Grand Prix. With that, we're going to set up 5 lights, and we're going to go racing, and I'm going to keep you with me for most of the race. Maybe not all. We'll bypass a couple laps. It's 18. It's a long track. But we're only doing one race on this episode this week, so we'll make the best of it. All right, well, let's go racing. 30-place grid penalty. Opponent changes. 5 lights are up, and they are out. A little bit of traction loss there, but we're going to move to the outside. We're behind Alonso here. A little bit of a slow start, but it's going to give me more time to close these guys down and be right behind them as we exit out of there. Dive to the inside here. I got the tight curbing here, but I'm able to pick up 2 spots up, or 1 spot over Alonso. So Alonso's in last place right now. He's already to my outside though. I'm not racing him. So if he gets past me, he gets past me. For now. Oh, he's still to my inside, still to my inside. I thought he had actually tucked in behind me. He did not, but now he has. I actually lose some time fighting with Alonso and fighting to keep it clean as well.
That's a decent start. Good job. Some information on Alonso. May have some kind of mechanical problem.
A McLaren with a mechanical problem? Shocking. Not a very good job there. I lost a little bit of ground through there. So I've got a worn gearbox. Other than that, everything else is good. Next week, I will get a new gearbox. So hopefully I don't run into any problems, as I'm just at 67% and I just spun myself around. And I suppose that's going to be a flashback. I just caught a little piece of the curbing there. Got a little too tight, and I took myself out. Let's see, we'll go from here. Well, that's one flashback. I only get 2 for the whole race, and chances are they're both going to come from curbing, as there's definitely some curbing ready to catch you out here on some corners. And I told you I was going to tell you why I kind of struggle on this track, is you have long, high-speed corners that have a curbing tight to the inside. Now, with a wheel, you could hold it steady. It is so much harder to hold steady without it being 100% tight. It's hard to hold the joystick on a gamepad tight on those corners while not being at full flat out, right? So that's the trouble that I have with a couple of these tracks, and this is one of them where that plays in often. In practice, I hit that curbing probably 4 or 5 times in well more than the laps that we run here. But, oof, that was not good. Snap of oversteer. I almost hit it again there. considering, I feel like I do okay here. It's not an easy course with the setup that I'm running. So we'll just put it down to that. But you can see that I am catching up to these back markers a little bit, so I'm closing them back down. So Alonso seems, whatever problem he is having, which remember, he did start in the back taking grid penalties, so he's got new parts on, but despite that, he's got something else wrong with the car, and he is falling further back. So looks like Alonso's not going to be in contention for anything unless after his pit stop he gains that much time. But here we are, closed up on the back of Gasly. I'm going to have DRS this time, and Gasly is heading in to the pits. Gasly is already pitting this early in the race. And there is Vettel. Vettel all the way back to the back of the grid for now. I just picked up DRS on my teammate Sorokin this time. Vettel came out of the pits just in front of him there, so I'm already working my way up. I'm into P13 at the moment, but of course this is not my actual race position. This is the fact that many cars have already started pitting here on lap number 6. Trying to keep it close on Sorokin here so that I can hopefully pick up DRS on the end of the lap and be close to him at the same time and maybe be able to get a run. Here we are towards the end of the lap. I don't know if he's heading into the pits or not. He is. Sorokin into the pits. So
Sergey is in the pits.
here comes Ricardo.
Sergey in the pits.
Here comes Ricardo. Like I said, I'm not racing Ricardo.
2.8 seconds. The gap to the car behind
Ooh, a
is
little tap there on Ricardo,
3
but
seconds.
no damage. No damage. Gone. Ricardo's gone, but you can see he's still in sight. Lost DRS, but I've got a little gap to Hulkenberg behind me. Looks like everybody has made their first stop already, outside of those who followed my strategy to go on the harder compound to start the race. Oof. Just hit a little bit of the sausage curve there and almost went around. So it was pretty close. Lost a few tenths, but nothing major. Hulkenberg is slowly closing me down though. I plan to let him go when the time comes and just try to pick up the toe. Should be able to stay with him a bit longer than I was with Ricardo, and if I could pick up a couple times the DRS, that could earn me a good half a second out on track. So
The gap to the leader is 9.0 seconds.
and no Hulkenberg, and Hulkenberg is out of the race. Hulkenberg out of the race. So it looks like he probably had an engine problem. He was behind me, and he was certainly not close enough that we were racing, so there was no incident. And he had plenty of clear track behind him as well from every time that I checked, so he was running totally on his
Looking
own.
at some gearbox wear, try to keep your number of shifts to a minimum. We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the ultra softs.
Okay, I'm loving the fact that I am racing on my own right now. Now, the fact that Hulkenberg is out of this race is definitely good for me because that'll allow me to keep that one position for sure. I run in P9 right now. Again, I am not in contention for the top 10. I have not pit. There are other cars that have not pit yet, though, so I'm not the only one, and I'm running good time. And yellow flag, I don't see the yellow flag, so must have been back sector 1. Yeah, there's green waving. It's a back marker. Yeah, that wasn't good for gearbox wear. I was worried I was gonna understeer off the edge of the track, so I caught a little curving there. That was close. And somebody's caught up to me all of a sudden. I didn't think I lost that much time there, but I certainly did. I've got Grosjean, I've got Magnussen.
Okay, you're in the top 10. We're leading our teammate by 21.7 seconds.
I tried to leave a window open for Magnussen. He didn't take it. Now he's still tight on me, so I've got to deal with Magnussen. Hopefully he doesn't take me out. I just gave him another window to go past. Oh, come on. And there goes my last flashback. Magnussen just took me out. I was staying to the left of the track, too. I came back a little bit across, but there was still more than a car width there. I was trying to line up for the next corner and still leave him room, but he didn't move when I moved. And meaning he didn't hug the right side, which had a car length. And so he clipped me from behind, and there goes my final flashback. That's why I did not want to run in traffic. Alright, let's find a decent opening. I had to slow down there. Well, let's take it from here. Okay, so he's to my inside. And I had to lose more time there, thanks to Magnussen. Having to let him go. I've still got Leclerc behind me now. Again, I would like to be racing Leclerc, but I am not. It's lap 11. I have one more lap to go until I pit. Definitely see that I'm starting to get a little bit of oversteer here and there as the tires are starting to fall off, but they're not too bad, really. They're holding up all right. What's not holding up too well is the fact that I'm in traffic, so I'm getting a lot of dirty air at the moment. Alright, well I just picked up DRS. That's one thing that I had been hoping for with traffic. Leclerc's also got DRS, and I'm going to brake extra hard here, let him go.
Okay, we've lost the position. That's us down a place.
Okay, so that's back down to P12, but I can hopefully stay close to Leclerc throughout the lap, and then pit in. We'll see where we're at after that as we make our run, our push for whatever position we can manage is going to start after the pit stop. Ooh, that was close. I got off of it right as I realized I was about to touch the curb. Got off the gas, and that is what kept me from going around. I did lose traction momentarily, but I was able to correct it.
Going off the sim data, we expect you're going to start feeling the effect of tyre wear around about now. Let us know if it gets too bad.
Alright, we are heading into the pits this time. Oof. That was not good. Alright, here we go. Ooh. Not a great pit entry either. Alright, lost maybe a second coming into the pits, so we'll see where I come out. There is Alonso up to P14, so Alonso, whatever problem he had was fixed after he pit. Looks like he was one of the ones to pit early. Good quick pit stop there. just over 2 seconds. Fantastic time on that. And we are
Pit strategy complete. See these
out
tires
in
through together now.
P18, right behind Gasly, so back where I was before. But the beautiful thing is I have almost 2 laps worth of fuel extra to burn here at the end. And I'm on a fresh set of ultras. I should be able to overtake Gasly at the very least. And I'm still in front of my teammate Sorokin, who's in P19, and then of course Hulkenberg is already out of this race. I'm gonna take a
Increase
look.
ERS deployment. It's time to use some of this charge.
I'm gonna take a little bit of time here to get these tires warm before I go on the attack. But it looks like I might be close enough on this lap to make a run at Pierre Gasly and overtake him on the front straight with the help of DRS. That's my goal. Okay, there's the DRS line, so I'm going to have DRS regardless. Oh, I had to get out of it. He parked it a little bit. And I get the DRS again, so that should be enough to complete the move and leave him behind here over the course of this lap. And yes, we are quickly pulling away from Gasly.
Our gap to the car in front is 4.5 seconds.
So his teammate Hartley is 4.5 seconds ahead. That's going to take a little while to get up to him. But I think between my rich mix my fresh tires, the kind of pace that I have been able to manage, you can see he's already visible now.
Seconds.
So Hartley went from totally out of sight to in a half a lap. I can see him already. So I'm gaining plenty of ground on him. And I should have him caught in the next couple of laps. But again, that's right back to what I was talking about before this race got underway, is I figured I was really only competing for about P15. So that was 2.25 seconds. So better than 2 seconds faster than my pace earlier. So that's... Okay, so lap 16, this might be the last position I gain. But if I'm tight here, a little squirrely off that curb. If I'm close here at the end of the lap, I should be able to get him with DRS. Go to the inside, late braking, and we got him. And I've still got the DRS, so I'm going to be able to pull away here.
Good job, nice overtake.
A little wide there, but recovered nicely, trying to push it out. I did catch sight of whoever is in front. Need to check that. Ericsson is next. And that is my rival, by the way, so...
In this engine mode much longer, we're about a lap over target.
There you go.
Drop down to mix too soon.
Lewis Hamilton, today's race winner. Mercedes had that front row lockout, though it was his teammate Valtteri Bottas who started on the pole. Alright, he is getting a little bit close on me here, and I am in that rich overtake mode. I should be able to hang on. It's Alonso! Alonso is behind me. How did that happen? He was running P14. Defending to the inside there. Oh, that is so close. Did I get it or not? I don't know.
Okay, good job, mate.
P15.
That was a
Whoa.
fantastic drive.
By inches, I keep ahead of Alonso for P15. What a thrilling finish to an otherwise quiet race outside of the points, but I got the job done pretty well today. I lost time in just a couple points here and there. Overall, it couldn't have been more than about 3 seconds that I lost here and there on the track. I did use both flashbacks, one on my own behalf after I hit the curbing and spun out early in the race. The second one where I used the racing line. Magnussen held the racing line, even though I was 3/4 of the way ahead of him. He clipped me, even though I still had a car length for him left, and that spun me out. So I got through the race in one piece, though. I only overshot one corner otherwise, where it would have been nice to use that flashback, but that was only 1.5 seconds lost there. And then a couple bad corners in the race, and overall that's not bad because I struggled on this course a bit, so I managed
after a difficult race today for our championship
15th,
leader.
not too bad.
Moving on to the driver of the day then. Anthony Davidson, who would you go for?
I have to give it to the Professor. They demonstrated a very delicate touch in close proximity to other cars, as well as showing a lot of maturity and patience in difficult situations.
And now let's take a look at the Constructors Standings. Mercedes moved to the top of the table. Another team that will be satisfied with this Grand Prix is Sauber, whose good result moves them further up the championship. After all this drama, you'd be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
Alright, so Hamilton with the win. Bottas drops, but still manages to finish in P2. No team orders on this one. Raikkonen stays ahead of his teammate Vettel, though they do manage to get ahead of the Red Bulls. Haas was the team that I was running with for a while there. It was good to let them go, as it was clear that they were much faster than I was. Along with Leclerc, though, I was also able to keep pace with him a little bit there. But he gets inside the top 10, so he picks up a couple points for his team on that one, so good for him. Ocon, last one in the top 10. Never saw these guys here in the middle. Ocon, Perez, Sainz, Van Dorn. We just caught sight of Ericsson as I was gaining on him. He was 5 seconds ahead of us, and just under 5 seconds. A few more laps, couple more laps, I might have been able to get him. But look at that. Look at the time, 50.548 to Alonso's 50.548. Identical times, not even a millisecond in it, as I stay just ahead of Fernando Alonso for P15. So there you go. I got to battle with so many people's favorite driver, Fernando Alonso, and I won. So nah. So Brendan Hartley back in P17, Gasly P18, my teammate Sergei Sorokin P19, 10 seconds behind Gasly, so you can see just how much slower my car was. So I'm still just outpacing him by a little bit. I managed to get about 15 seconds ahead of him in the end of the race. That's still pretty tight between two teammates, but you can see my best lap 3 seconds better than Sorokin. But a lot of that was light fuel load on the Ultras when he went reverse. He went the other way. He was on Ultras with a heavy fuel load. And actually was a 10th better than Alonso's best, and Ericsson was better than his best as well. So that'll be good for my rivalries, which I think are just about coming to an end. So in the points, Vettel's still on top, but 13 points now over Hamilton as Hamilton closes the gap a lot. And in the Constructors, Mercedes moved to the top 11 points ahead of Ferrari, with Red Bull way behind in third, Renault not comfortably, but in fourth. Haas closed that gap quite a bit today in fifth place, but now only 6 points behind Renault. And Sauber, with those 2 points, Leclerc doubles the team's total on the season and move into P9. No change in the points except for Leclerc, who picked up his first 2 points of the season. Ericsson had the other 2, so good on Leclerc to finally get the scoring going. And now the only driver left who has yet to finish inside the top 10 all year is my teammate, Sergei Sorokin.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective. You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy?
Let's see. I'm going to go with the aero package as I'm trying to work on the aero department
That was
this time.
an epic battle today. How do you think this will play out?
I never got to race Marcus Ericsson head-to-head, but it looks like I did enough to... we're right at the end of that
Appreciate your
rivalry.
time.
Also the Sorokin rivalry as well, so this will be good for me. I think it's also just in time for contracts. We can see entering the race, I was just 1 point shy of finishing off Sorokin, so we got that. But I also did just enough to go to exactly 30 points on the rivalry with Ericsson, and that was pretty close. I only beat it by 6. So it's not like we ran away with that. Some nice bonuses today. I also got a team goal bonus and rivalry bonuses. So massive points earned today. And I need 900 after next race weekend, which means I've already got about 1,200 beyond that. I need those 900 because once I get to Monza, we'll have our major upgrades done. And that's the next 3 minor upgrades that could all be completed at the exact same time will cost me roughly 900 points. Means that's all I need to save, so I'll be able to work towards that next upgrade.
That's a great result. You did really well. I don't think we can have any complaints with that performance.
And it looks like I've done enough, or at least I've reached that point where we have a new mid-season contract renegotiation. And my value has gone up quite a bit, so I should be able to get a bit more out of this. Of course, I am staying with Williams, as this is a Road to Glory series, so I'm not looking to work my way up.
Here you can see the current deal. Once negotiations begin, the team will make you an offer. You can accept if you like, but I strongly suggest we push for better terms.
Alright, so the team's offered contract, a little different than what I had. They dropped the qualifying position by 1. And I certainly don't mind that. They put up the pit stop efficiency, and that's not necessarily what I need. I'm going to drop that back down to 1, 10% quicker. The race bonus is what I really want, because that's the R&D points. And that actually puts the contract up higher than it did, even though I went from 3 to 1 and 1 to 3 on those. So that will raise the contract value, but only slightly. So let's see here. Upgrade times. How about we put that to level 2? And I guess, I'm not going to need 900 because I can only do 2 upgrades at a time right now, and I'll keep that the same, 2 upgrades per department. I'm playing the long game here anyway. Now, team goal, medium. I'm hitting those goals, so I'm okay with keeping that at medium for now. Let's see if we can grab level 2 on the pit stops. Or, hold on. Maybe I should take 3 upgrades. You know what? No. Let's go for the pit stop. And let's propose. Let's see where we're at.
Our proposal
Oh,
has been
comfortably.
accepted.
Okay.
The new contract
Actually, could
will
have
take
done a
effect
little
from
bit
the
more.
next race weekend.
So there we go. So now we're at... I had level 3 on the race bonus before. Everything else was level 1. So I've upgraded the pit stop efficiency by a level, the upgrade speed by a level, and I dropped the qualifying position from 17th to 18th, and still have some room to go. So I should be able to get some better perks, even better perks next time around. Now, in terms of rivalry, looks like I'll have to wait till next weekend to select one. We'll do that at the beginning of the next episode, but let's go ahead and wrap up things with our next upgrade here in the aero department, as we will pick up 1,400 points for the wind tunnel efficiency as we continue our way towards that 2 left to go. 1,600 for the next one, 1,800 for the final one. Alright, well, that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe, and tune in next time on my road to the record. Bye for now.